Hey everybody, and welcome to I Got This with LEX and MGP. I am Lex and I've been a personal trainer over the last 5 years. Martha has been my client for 3 years, and over that time she has lost over 50 pounds and changed her entire perspective on life. Join us each week as we dive into health, mindset, and everything in between. What's up, team, and welcome back to the I Got This pod. Lex here. Martha was just Martha was just telling me a pretty funny story.
So I was at work the other day, and at the lunch table, I'm a teacher, and all the teachers, we all eat together at lunch. And one of them just all of a sudden, out of the blue, goes, "Hey, you still working with that trainer?" I'm like, "Don't I look like I'm still working with that trainer?" But anyway.
Awkward, thanks for the insult. But.
And she was like, no, I was, noticing that you're still eating salad and you talk about working out still, blah, blah, blah. So, yes, I am still working with that trainer, Lex. But, it's been 3 years, and I can't actually imagine a time we wouldn't be working together.
That makes me so happy. So is this a question you get often?
I do. People are always asking me, "Are you still working out? Are you still on a diet?" Well, no, I'm not on a diet because never been on a diet.
Yeah.
But these are the questions I get asked. Are you still working with a trainer? How can you afford to be with a trainer?
Oh, that's
Why
a good
are you
question.
working with a trainer?
Why?
Haven't you figured out what you need to do yet?
How do you respond?
So I talk about the good and the bad of
Okay.
having a trainer.
Mm-hmm.
Accountability,
Can't
obviously.
wait to hear the bad, but just kidding.
Those would start with B and end with herpes. But anyway.
B, herpes, that's funny.
Anyway, but I always, when they're asking me if I'm still working with my trainer and why, a lot of times there's not a finish line for me, which in the beginning I thought there was. I'm going to do this for 10 weeks, or I'm going to do this for 6 months, and then I'm going to be thin, and then life's going to be great.
Right.
But there really isn't a finish line, and I've come to realize that. And, we're always making progress. We're always moving forward. I'm still learning. I like to learn. And my trainer helps me with that, which of course is Lex right here. But it's about accountability too, and keeping me on the right path. So I don't go back to that previous version of myself that I wasn't happy with.
Right.
And so that accountability, that friendship, that motivation, when I'm not feeling motivated, hopefully she's bringing the motivation or gets me there and keeps that discipline going. Mm-hmm. And we are always trying new things, new exercises, new workouts, seeing what works, changing it up. There's a reason you hire a professional to help you in any aspect of your life. We have a stockbroker for our finances. Yeah. We have a plumber when the pipes aren't working in our house. Yeah. I have a trainer to help me with my fitness goals.
Heck yeah.
It's the same thing.
That's the thing that, obviously I am biased because I am a personal trainer. If you haven't caught on. But I believe this in every area of life. So think about the biggest celebrities out there that are the most successful, the ones that we love, like J-Lo, The Rock. Who else do you love?
Those are my two faves.
Those are my two faves too.
There's some Hemsworth brothers that aren't too bad.
I like them. We love them all. Anyways, but thinking about those people, they have a person for everything. They have a nutritionist, a stylist, a beautician. They have an esthetician. They have a personal trainer, probably a personal chef. They have all of these things, and these things and people that they have are tools. And my question is, why don't we get those tools, right? Why don't we have a team? All of these very famous stars, even just, like the Kardashians or whoever, they have a team of people to make them the best versions of themselves for their life to run properly and to get them where they want to go. So even though we don't have the finances that they do, right? But
that's what I was thinking when you're like, why don't we have that? Because I don't make $10 million a year.
but we can create a team of people. We can create our core 5 people that make us the best version of ourselves. Maybe you choose a personal trainer. Maybe you choose to get a spray tan every few months. Maybe that's your thing that makes you feel the best version of yourselves. Maybe you pay for, it's choosing what your 5 team members are to make you the best version of yourselves. And that's why I think you hire a coach, because if we're going to be the best of the best, you can't do it alone, right?
Correct. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I thought, hiring a personal trainer is just going to be someone putting me through workouts. But there's more to it than just that.
A million times more. A million times more. And that's the other thing we can talk about financials as well. Living your best life will always cost a little bit, but it also, again, is it worth it?
It sounds cliche, but you're making an investment in yourself.
Exactly. But that's the ones, whenever I say the J-Lo bit about J-Lo has a makeup artist, a hairstylist, like all this. Why can't you have one of those things?
Exactly.
My young girls are like, you're right, preach, sister. Like, I'm hiring you, so that's kind of fun.
And you have a lot of young clients.
Yeah. So another stigma with hiring a coach is that you have to be wealthy, and normally wealth does come with age, right? Or, it comes with a lot of different things. But that's not true. A lot of my clients age are from 20 to 35 years old, and 20 is pretty young, right? Mm-hmm. So it's learning. So how I speak to them is reminding them that if you learn the proper things now, these habits now, you won't have to start when you're 50 and or 60 or 70 and have to learn how to reverse your bad habits. You're starting young, and you're going to learn these things. And yeah, you'll need accountability. You'll probably because you're doing it young, you'll probably consistently hire coaches throughout your entire life because you realize how worth it is. But there's the stigma that you have to be a certain age and you have to have a certain amount of income. But there's a viable way to do it for everybody, so that the rest of your life is actually easier and not harder.
That totally makes sense. I mean, I never would have thought I'd have a personal trainer.
Right.
10 years ago or 15 years ago.
Right.
That's for crazy celebrities.
Exactly. And now it's attainable for so many people. There are ways.
Yeah. And my only experience really with personal trainers was seeing them on TV, like the Biggest Loser type shows. You'd have Jillian Michaels yelling at people. Not that Lex can't be that way sometimes, but anyway,
she is a slight model, role model of mine. Not gonna lie,
we're about the same size, but anyway,
shocking. Anyways,
but no, I really never thought it was something I would ever have.
Right,
and I was someone that had my first trainer at 50. So here I am, 3 years later, still with a trainer. And still going strong. Yeah.
And that's how you start to realize, oh, this is for everybody. Having a coach in some way, shape, or form is for everybody. And the other thing is there are so many other forms of coaches that I would 100% push on people, whether that's a mindset coach, whether that's a therapist is a term, like a version of a coach, a nutritionist, somebody who helps you level up and see things in a way that you didn't see, a business coach. I have a mentor, right, that helps me with everything in life and in between. That's a coach. That's somebody that makes me better. So finding a coach, whether that's hiring them or finding them in some way, shape, or form, will help you level up. And that's what this is all about.
We don't think about it being a bad idea to get a coach. For example, I'm a golfer.
Right.
And when I'm having trouble with my swing.
Yes.
I have a coach I go to.
Boom.
That helps fix it. No one ever thinks like, oh, why is she going to a golf coach?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, because she's got some sort of weird hitch in her swing. She's got to get fixed.
Exactly.
This is the same thing.
You need help.
You need someone outside of it to look at you and look at what you're doing and help you fix it.
And that's the thing. Even, here's the thing. Trainers aren't perfect either. Mm-hmm. Like I've hired a coach to help me through workouts and that type of thing many times. Every single person needs it. There's not a single person that's above accountability, that's above bettering themselves. Who's above that?
Right. And as a teacher, I work with young teachers, and they come and watch me teach, and then I go in their classrooms and help them learn how to teach.
Exactly.
So it's the same thing.
Exactly.
And no one ever thinks anything of that either.
Mm-hmm. So it's kind of, we got to shatter these stigmas of only celebrity gets personal trainers, or only you get to a certain point, so then you need a personal trainer. Like, no, you get them to better yourself sooner rather than later. If you don't know, you get them to learn and help you. So that's kind of cool. So tell me, I know you've worked with just a few trainers, but I want to hear your different experiences, things that you've taken from each coach in a positive way. Like, what have you learned? What has helped you better yourselves. And each person is going to give you something different too.
Absolutely. Well, my first trainer was about 3.5 years ago, before I was training with you. And with her, it was all about mobility, first of all, because I didn't have a lot of mobility at that point. You know, everything was very tight, creaky. I didn't have the movement that I now have. So we worked a lot on mobility. And I didn't know anything about mobility.
Right.
I mean, yeah, and you can stretch, you see people stretching after a run or something, but that wasn't even the right kind of thing.
Yeah.
So learning how to foam roll, learning how to do some basic yoga moves was all super important before we even ever started lifting weights. So we did that a lot in the beginning. Just some mobility, or the weightlifting moves without weights.
She worked on the foundations, the fundamentals with you, which
Absolutely. And I didn't even know that's what we were doing.
Yeah. You were like, oh, this is working out. Nice. This is easy.
Well, that foam rolling hurts in the beginning. Come on.
That's true. That's true.
But no, we were doing a lot of like air squats, or we would do it. She called them TWAs. I don't know what you would know what that is.
Yes, yes, that's shoulder mobility and work, and your scaps and
so
all
we did
words that may mean nothing to everybody out there.
But we did a lot of that stuff in the beginning. And at the same time, we were talking about why we should be working out, why we should be moving in these ways. Because I'd say, what are we doing this for?
Yeah. Did you ever think, why am I doing all this? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. But then we started putting some weights on. And it was easier to do that now because I already knew what, a squat is. So now I'm going to squat with this barbell on my back.
Yes, or a weight to your chest.
Exactly. Or we were doing walking lunges with no weights. Now we're going to put a couple dumbbells in our hands and walk around the room.
Right.
So we didn't have to worry about doing those movements. So it was basics, just basic stuff.
Yeah.
And
which is so, so important because I have clients who have been working out for their entire lives that I have to truly restart with. And they're like, why are we learning how to do this again? I'm like, well, because you're doing it wrong. So
you and I even have those moments. But anyway.
Still yes.
But so that's really what we did a lot of in the beginning. And then she didn't push it too much nutrition-wise. That was kind of some of my own. But then we got there. The one thing that then she did start pushing me on was to journal and to start thinking about why we're doing things or why you're doing, have concerns about things. And so we really started working on some mindset at the same time. And I was like, well, I thought you were supposed to just work me out. Why are we doing this?
Yeah.
So that kind of blindsided me a little bit, to be honest.
Right.
So she made me start journaling and I had to write. It wasn't a big deal every day, but I had to write down like one positive thing every day and one thing I was grateful for. Like one affirmation, one gratitude. That was it. 2 sentences. That's all she wanted in my book.
And what could be so bad about that?
Right.
Right?
But I was like, I thought you were going to make me learn how to do push-ups, but okay. So that's really where we're at with that. And then there came a time where she actually had a different job and was moving, and so I had to get a new trainer. And fortunately for me, she decided that she was going to put me with you.
Yes.
So, and a lot of her clients, she had to dish out to different trainers or whatever.
Yeah.
And I don't know how many of hers ended up going to you, but I know all of my friends went to different trainers, and then she's like, but you are going to go with Lex. And I'm like, why me? But
you're like, really though? Do I have to?
And so then we started working together. And at that point, we were just starting to kind of lift.
Right.
And so all those big lifts kind of came when I started working with you.
Which is funny because at the time she kind of explained to me like she's like, oh, Martha can do anything. And I was like, okay, cool. Let's do this thing.
Yes.
And then I slowly learned we had to backtrack a little bit. I was like, oh, okay.
You said anything.
Yes, you said anything.
So then we started training together, and she did say I could do anything. I think she knew I had the potential to do anything.
Which you did.
Not that I already could do anything.
Which I slowly learned. I was like, oh, wait, okay. We'll get there. We will get there. But we did. And we did get there.
Yes,
because you can do just about anything now, which is awesome.
Including a Turkish get-up. We learned that today. But anyway, I digress.
We can get into a Turkish get-up. We're still learning. It's going to take a long time to get that fully down. But we are getting there, which is awesome. So let's talk... So and I hate to say, what did you learn from me? But what are a few key bullet points that you learned in those differences of training?
So in the beginning with you, it was fundamentals too.
Yes.
I mean, it still is. Don't get me wrong. But there's a lot of times where you're like, this one, And so in the beginning, it was that. It was figuring out, too, with you, that maybe I didn't need as much hard cardio. We needed more weight. We needed more strength, more heavy weights.
Right.
That's when we started seeing the changes. So just kind of figuring out what my body was going to adapt to.
Right.
And even what I liked.
Yeah.
I didn't know that I liked to throw up 130 pounds on a bench press.
Yes, exactly.
And then I was like, damn, look at me go.
Like,
or maybe you said, damn, look at you go. I don't know.
I was like, ooh, look at you. This is not normal. But this is really cool. And I think I had to emphasize how cool it was that you could do this.
Well, I didn't know.
Yeah.
I really didn't know. I
You
had
didn't
no
know.
frame of reference.
Yeah.
I just thought
you were
I was
like, I bet everybody can do this. No, Martha, not everybody can do this. This is cool.
So
yeah,
that was part of our learning experience, right? With even each other.
And that's the other thing. As a coach, it's my job to be your teammate and help you figure out what works for you. It is not like you come in and tell me, I like this. I mean, yes, you can come in and tell me, I like this, but also you may like what you like, but now how do we incorporate it into a program and a format that you like but also works? And that is a lifelong that's lifelong and ever changing. So I have multiple clients who will see results and then they stay a little steady and then they fall off, and then it's like, okay, don't worry, we got this, but we're in this together. That's what having a coach is sitting down and remembering you are not in this journey by yourself trying to navigate, and having that support system is, I think, absolutely just unbelievably worthwhile, right?
That's a big part of it too.
Yeah.
There have been times where, and I hate to go back to weight loss, but where it was coming off, I was shedding fat, no problem. In, every week you're like, woo. And then, boom, the plateau comes, right?
Yeah.
And it comes for everybody.
Right.
And, I've had phases in these last 3 years, really, I guess 3.5, where 6 months, no changes, none, 0. And that's exactly how I would say it to Lex.
It's all serious. 0, nothing, no change.
And there are times that I have literally yelled across the gym at Lex. We won't go into the language, but we've done it.
Yes.
And she's had to talk me off the ledge. And in the past, if I did not have that coach or have that trainer or that support person, I'd be like, why am I even doing this? This is a waste of time. Why? Yeah. I had the same results if I was sitting on the couch, So having you there to show me the pictures, to show me that, okay, the scale didn't move, but why is your waist 1.5 inches smaller than it was 2 months ago? Reminds you, because I wouldn't probably not measure or take pictures.
That's what most people don't do. Even if they are working out consistently, they start to feel good. But if you don't take pictures and you don't take measurements properly, you don't realize that you're doing an amazing job. And so you just kind of stop and you forget that, which also makes me sad for those that do work out consistently. No, they're doing a good job, but don't realize how good they're really doing, too.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's where you get frustrated because you think it's all the scale.
Right.
And especially as women, we've been taught it since we, were little. You got to weigh 110 pounds or whatever. Well, I'm 5'7". I'm never going to weigh 110 pounds either. Not with this kind of muscle on me.
Yes. No. Please don't do that.
But that's just, it's not real, but that's what, you come to think. And then when you realize, okay, no, I've got all this muscle on me, but before I started this journey, I'm wearing a size 16 and now I'm wearing like 8s and 10s. So it's a huge difference.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it doesn't matter. And even in the last year or so, the scale hasn't moved that much, but my sizes have still gone down.
Exactly.
So why? I mean, right? So
and
you
that's
can't
why
look at
you
the
need
scale.
a coach to consistently remind you and be your support system when you doubt yourself, because we all doubt ourselves. Every single one of us. I don't care if you are Dwayne or J-Lo. Yeah. Maybe if I keep saying their name, they will someday pop up on our show or something.
We get them out as we'll get them out as guests. Let me call their people.
Anyways, that'd be the coolest thing in the world. So yeah, I don't care who you are, you always have your doubts as to your own capabilities or if what you're doing is working. I don't care who you are. So, but everybody needs their teammate. Everybody needs their support to help them and to remind them and build them up. So that's the reason you do this. Now, let's talk about choosing the right person for you. That's hard. I really wish we could, if you can talk on your husband's journey in that way too. He's been with how many trainers?
I think 5 or 6.
5 or 6.
I'll have to count it as I'm doing it. Yeah.
Yeah, 5 or 6, right?
Yeah, I've only been with 2.
Yes. So it's still slightly different, but so you clicked with me. We were lucky.
Yeah.
We clicked. The other thing that's...
And I was scared about that because I'd only had the one.
Yeah.
And you don't know.
Yeah.
And I was, frankly, she kind of picked me, I guess, or
right.
talked me into trying a free, session or whatever.
Right.
And then was, like, well, we'll do it for 10 weeks. Okay. And then we got along fine and she taught me a lot of stuff and
right.
I felt really good about it.
Yeah.
And I enjoyed training with her or whatever. And then, unfortunately, like I said, she left because she moved and she paired me up with you. And she said to me flat out, "You're going to click with Lex." And I was like, I don't know. I mean, I knew you from classes or whatever
right.
and you were fine. I mean, you were nice.
I was just fine and I was nice.
You seem nice, but no, but we did. We clicked right away and we were fortunate.
Which is very important when you are with a coach. You have to find somebody you really like. Like you want to go to, and that, number one, it takes time. Like you're not comfortable with just anybody you sit down with. But if you don't like the person that you're going to meet with once a week, twice a week, 3 times a week, guess what? You don't want to go back, right?
Right. Oh, yeah.
So, I genuinely like all my clients. I want them to know that I like them because if I like them, then they're going to like me, right?
You would hope.
Well, people like people who like them, generally, right? Yeah. So, but you do have to like your coach. If you are working with somebody who kind of irritates you or, has something that really bothers you about or makes you feel uncomfortable, then it's not going to work out. So you do have to find the person that makes you get along with, right?
Absolutely. And even when she told me she was leaving and was going to be passing me off to a different trainer, basically.
Right.
And that sounds bad. I don't mean it that way. But
yes.
just, she had to find me a new trainer.
Yes.
And she said she would.
Yes.
And we talked about a couple of the other trainers, not you.
Right.
That I said absolutely not. Because I just knew there was nothing inherently wrong with them. I just knew we wouldn't be.
Exactly. A good fit. And there's no problem with that. And even I have had clients where I knew I was like, oh, we just don't communicate the best, right? I'm not a very... I have a hard time communicating with this person, or we just aren't on the same wavelength, which is not a problem at all. I just know that somebody else may be able to help them and get through to them better than I can. And I have had clients too, which makes me really sad, who have started training with me and we had that experience and I've been and they usually, if you stop training with the trainer, you're like, okay, I just don't think working out or training is for me, when in reality I'm like, okay, well, if it's not working for us, how about you try this person, right? And then they're like, no, I'm not going to even try that person, but I will always recommend, if it doesn't work with one person and you're just not feeling it, try somebody else. Just give it a shot. Try 1 or 2 other people, see if it changes your mind. If it doesn't, then fine. But at least give it a shot.
Absolutely. And that's what my husband went through. He actually started with the same trainer that I did. And then when she left, had to find us new trainers.
And I think he vibed with her better than you did, right?
A little bit.
Yeah.
And not that we didn't, but they hit it off.
Yeah, which is great.
And so I think that was maybe why it was a little bit harder for him to find that next connection.
Exactly.
And he did bounce from trainer to trainer for a little bit.
Right.
He was with one... He had been used to training with a female trainer, which was fine, and then was with a male trainer for a little bit, and that was fine. He was actually kind of excited to see the difference.
Yes.
But this guy would happen to be very quiet.
Yes.
And my husband wanted someone with a little bit more outgoing personality.
Right.
So that was difficult for him.
Yes.
And even though the workouts were fine.
Yes. But it's hard to communicate that too. You're like, well, something's not right here, but I don't know what it is. So I don't know how to request something different. So that's the other thing. When you're picking a coach, remember, you are paying that person. So you should feel like you're getting everything you want out of your experience, right?
Absolutely.
It's so important.
Yeah, but he trains with Lex now, and it's all good. Or not, I guess. She's stuck with both of us now.
I love them. I love them both. So the other thing is, remember, you're paying the person. You should feel like a priority to them as well, and you should feel like they care about you. That they are you're not just another client. Every client should be your most important client. Every in your trainer should be like, yeah, that's my trainer. Like that's this program is my program, and it should feel like something special to you, truly. And that's what I hope each and every person who does choose to make a slightly bigger investment in themselves finds. And when you're looking for that, you should look for, number one, it's been so much easier with social media, TikTok, Instagram, YouTube videos. You can find people, you can find their raw, truest personality.
Perhaps on a podcast even.
Perhaps even on a podcast. But you can find the realest personality and find somebody that you resonate with. Mm-hmm. Find their philosophy. Do you resonate with their philosophy? Even for me, right? My approach is sometimes more mindset based and holistic versus strict, which is, different. Like some people need the black and white, like you are allowed to do this many macros and this many calories, and it works great for them, right? So mine's not as black and white. So you have to find somebody that you resonate with, somebody that you like, and don't be afraid to reach out to them. Find the avenue that you would like to go. Would you like to work with a nutritionist? As that's where you're slacking. Would you like to work with a trainer so you know what to do when you work in the gym? Would you like to work with a mindset coach? Is that where you're failing, where you feel like your just confidence isn't there and that's what you need to attack? So I think those are the three biggest routes that will help you get where you want to go and find the right coach for you. Mm-hmm.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
And we actually conquered all of those things at some point.
And if you find the right coach, maybe they will, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. But we really don't have any trouble anymore talking about just about anything.
No. Which is why we're here today at this podcast.
But I wouldn't have thought that 3 years ago.
No.
I really expected, and I liked you right away, of course, but I really expected I was just going to learn how to work out more.
Right.
And how to lift more.
Exactly.
Or just different things.
And it's not always about more. Maybe sometimes it's about doing it right.
And sometimes it's about resting too, which you've taught me.
Exactly. Maybe we're working out a little too hard. So finally, I do want to touch on monetary. Mm-hmm. So I'm biased.
Right.
Duh. I believe if you want something bad enough, you will find a way to make it work.
Thanks for joining us. If you enjoyed what you heard, please go to wherever you listen to podcasts and give us a 5-star rating. Also, follow us on Instagram, Twitter, YouTube, and Facebook at I Got This Pod. See you next week. And remember, I got this.